Hello everybody, this is Launi. You know me. I'm going to putter around for a few minutes and just wait till people show up. Let me know you're there when you get there, and then I'll know exactly when to start. You always feel like you're talking to yourself anyway. I just really don't want to think I honestly am, because that sounds really sad. So, in the interest of starting on time, I will tell you, I want to welcome you to this Essential Oils 101 doTERRA class. It's called Ready for Anything because that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about tonight. Basically what essential oils are, how they work, why we use them, why we love them, all of that. So I'll start by just telling you that I have been teaching essential oils classes for over 6 years now with both of my daughters. We've taught them at different places. We've taught them at other people's homes. We've taught them in our own homes. Anywhere that somebody will listen to us, that's where we've gone, because essential oils have been a big part of our lives for the last 6 or 8 years. My oldest daughter has had them in her life a little bit longer than the rest of us, but we jumped in, and we've been in ever since. So I love teaching about essential oils, absolutely love it, because I love having people understand what to do with the oils they already have, and if they don't have oils in their life, I love showing them why they should have, why they're going to want them, why they are going to be addicted just like the rest of us are. I like them to know how they work so that they don't have any oils in their home that they just have sitting on a shelf. I think that's just really sad. So hi Amanda. And so also I want you to know how to use them. I want you to know how to get your own if you don't have any. And so I also love sharing how they are safer. They're more efficient. And gosh, I lost my train of thought. I guess I better not wave at people because it freaks me out a little bit. Hi, Amanda. Anyway, they are safer, more effective, and less expensive than what you might be using already for healthcare. So stick with me and we will talk about that. Since we discovered essential oils, I'm excited you're here too. I want you to know how to use your oils. So since we've discovered essential oils, they have changed the way we do just about everything. We cook with them, we clean with them, we detox with them, we use them to manage moods. If anybody's grumpy in our house, we've got an oil for that. I know that's a little saying that a lot of people use, but we use it a lot around here because it's very, very true. We use it for immune support, sleep support. If you have somebody that's having trouble of some kind with their tummy, we've got something that can help that a lot too. So right up front I want to tell you that if you want these oils, I hope we can help you get these oils on their way to you tonight, because that's what's going to change your life, and I promise you they will. But if that's not your thing, then that's okay too. I'm just glad you're here. We'll learn a lot and it'll be great. So let's get started. People get involved, or get interested, I should say, in essential oils for lots and lots of different reasons. Everybody's got something in their life that they wish they could take care of. They wish they could do better, whether it's a medical thing, emotional thing, something with their children, something like that. And many people all over the world are looking for more natural methods of health care, because healthcare is changing, and we have a lot of struggles with the healthcare system as it is right now. And so I know that it's nice to be able to feel like if there was a small emergency, we could do something about that right here in our own home. Also, my family is really, really big on avoiding harmful side effects because, hello, Carla Joe, because that's been a big struggle for us in our lives. when my children were little, well, I'll tell you first, the very first place that I ever heard of essential oils was about 20 years ago. And I had a friend who came to me and said, oh, I can tell you're struggling with this. I had some things going on in my life. And she said, I think this oil will really, really help you. And I said, how is an oil going to help me? Because all I could think of was, cooking oil or something like that. And she said, no, no, no. And she held up this teeny tiny little bottle. Now, remember, this is 20 years ago. So this was, there was just... I think she found it at a health food store or something like that, but I'd never heard of it. Anyway, she took the lid off and let me smell it, and sadly, it smelled like really cheap, kind of nasty aftershave. And I remember kind of going, no, you know what? I'm not thinking that's going to help my anxiety at all. In fact, that's starting to make me anxious, so I just don't want to smell that. So I didn't think about essential oils for 20 years other than to think, no, they don't smell good and I don't want to deal with them. But then here's the problem. I have 5 kids, and my 3 daughters, every single one of them had some kind of issue, allergic reaction of sorts, to antibiotics, medicines, vaccinations. One of them is very allergic to red dye. Another one is allergic to the antidote you would take if you had an allergic reaction to a medication. Now, understand too that the little gal of mine that's allergic to red dye, the doctor gave me some medicine for her, and she's not the one that had the reaction to the antidotes, but the doctor gave me some medicine for her, and I poured it into a spoon to give to her, and I was supposed to give her this whenever she was reacting to red dye, and it was bright pink. And I called him and I said, this is bright pink. How is this going to help her? And he said, well, you sort of have to jump in and just let's see if the medicine can get to her. And the dye is what she was struggling with in the first place. So it didn't make sense to me. Anyways, as we struggled through a lot of these things, I felt really helpless. And I remember feeling like, how do I fix my own kids? How do I help my own children so that they don't have these awful effects? And I didn't feel competent enough to take care of the situations myself, so I was always taking them to doctors. Well, as time went on, I realized that I needed to become much more in charge of my family's health care. I needed to do some research. I needed to find my own answers that I felt like were going to work with my own children. So And I will say, I recognize that we are very fortunate to live at the time that we do, to live now where there's wonderful medical advances. We have hospitals and doctors just around the corner for almost everyone nowadays. And there are great advances. But with those advances, we have limitations. The medical community does have limitations because essentially what they're trying to do is treat symptoms. And heal broken parts. And so while we go to them for those things, when they treat symptoms, quite often we get side effects. And the side effects are what was really, really a struggle for my family. And so we needed to look really hard at that. If you have ever watched a drug commercial, and they come on at night, and sometimes we just sit and laugh at them because they're just so ridiculous. Lots of times you can't tell what the product is that they're even trying to sell. But when they start rattling through all the side effects, they really get my attention because I think, okay, whatever it was that they're advertising can't be nearly as bad as all those side effects they're talking about. And then when I wrote these down the other day, because it was almost ridiculous, it said, if you take this medicine, and honestly, I think it was, I don't remember what it was, but it was... Anyway, depression was a side effect. Violent dreams, stroke, blood clots, stomach ulcers, coma, because that's not a problem, right? And death. Okay, so whatever the problem was, I bet it wasn't as bad as some of those little side effects. At any rate, we get side effects because our body is reacting somehow to the chemicals. That it's rejecting the chemicals that it knows is not a natural thing for our bodies. And so it, kind of repels that a bit. But the good news is that, and the reason that I got involved in all of this is because doTERRA essential oils are from natural sources. Every single one of them is from a plant or a tree or petals of a flower or roots of some kind of plant. They're highly concentrated. They are 75% more potent than the herb itself because it's the oil that's being pressed or steam distilled from those leaves that we use when we're using herbs. They are 100% natural. They are 100% certified pure, therapeutic grade. And that means that they are free from toxins, they are free from additives, chemicals, synthetics, and harmful side effects. Now, if you're raising the kids that I'm raising, or that I did raise, I'm kind of done now, almost. But if you raised the family that I have, zero side effects, harmful side effects would be really huge to you. It is really huge to me. And so for that reason, I perked up when I had someone talk to me about these oils. And I'll tell you very, very quickly, the first experience that I had with the oils was having a friend of mine talk to me about it, and she said, well, come with me to this little class and we'll talk about it on the way. The ride was about 2 hours, and she said, we'll just talk about it as we're driving. And I thought, okay. And well, so we were leaving about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I came out to the car to see her early that morning to tell her that I couldn't go because I had absolutely such an inflamed throat. I said, I'm positive I'm getting strep. I can't go with you. And she said, oh my goodness, just get in the car. And I don't know whether she thought I was kidding or what, but I thought, no, I'm serious. I can't go with you. I have got this throat thing going on and it really hurts, and I'm positive it's strep. And she said, get in the car and I will have it gone in an hour and a half. And I thought, oh, are you magic, or what's up with you? Because I'll tell you, back in those days, and this was 7 or 8 years ago, as a single mom with no medical insurance, because back in those days we didn't have it, and to get a sore throat, it made me worry that the only way I could get rid of it was to have to go to Instacare and get an antibiotic or get a strep test or something like that. That was going to cost me more than I usually had. And so that was always a big panic for me. So to have this friend say to me, well, just get in the car and I'll have it gone. I thought, well, okay, I'm intrigued. But, you know, if nothing else, she wasn't afraid of catching whatever it was I had. So anyways, I got in the car. She handed me this little bottle. Now, I was already familiar with, this says On Guard. I was already familiar with the oils. She had kind of showed me some of them, but I'd never really seen any of them work. And she said, okay, now I'm going to tell you to do something kind of crazy here. And she said, I'm going to tell you to take off this cap and throw a little drop back in your throat. Now, those of you that are already familiar with On Guard, you know that there's lots of better ways to do that nowadays. But back then, this is what we had. So I was just a believing, trusting little soul. And so I took the bottle and I went, ha, like that. And I threw a drop back in my throat. Now, On Guard has clove and cinnamon and all kinds of really, really good, lovely things that are wonderful for immune support, wonderful for being antiviral, antibacterial, all of those wonderful things. But it's hot. And so I threw it in the back of my throat and I thought, 4-alarm fire. And so I was kind of going, oh, and she said, well, close your mouth and just breathe in and now drink your water. And so I did exactly what she said. I really thought maybe I was going to take a swing at her for a minute there. It was really hot. And so I took a drink of water and I said, wow, that was kind of big and huge. And she said, yeah, so just let that percolate a little bit and just let it work. And I thought, oh, whatever. So we just started talking and we started going and we got to our destination 2 hours later, and I had forgotten all about my throat. We got there, we were taking things out of the trunk of her car, and she kind of went bop like that on my arm, and she said, so, by the way, how is your throat? How's your throat feel? And I said, oh, wait. And I said, I've been talking and all this time, which would have been really, really hard, but all of a sudden I wasn't thinking about my throat at all. And I went into the place we were going to, and I went in the bathroom, turned the light on, and looked back at my throat, and it was still a little bit pink, but it was nothing like what I had looked at when I first started, and I thought I was going to have to tell her I couldn't go. So I was impressed. I had quite a good experience, there, and it just really made me feel like this is a pretty big deal. So I want to talk to you about safer alternatives that I feel the doTERRA essential oils are much safer. For my family, they've proven that over and over and over that they are a much safer thing. But I want to tell you a little bit about my son that really proved this point to us. He went up to BYU, Idaho years ago. And he called me one day and he said, hey, I'm almost in, I've turned in all my papers and everything. The last thing I have to do is get a physical. And I thought, oh, well, that's no big deal. He's a big old kind of football brute of a fellow, and he's never had trouble with that kind of thing. So he calls me back a couple of days later, and he says, well, I got my physical, and guess what? And I said, what? And he said, I failed. Now, I couldn't imagine how this big, healthy boy could fail, but he said that they gave him a TB test, tuberculosis test. And they said that he had measured on a scale of 1 to 15. They said normal is 1 to 5. So we could all be in that range. It's no big deal. Well, he was an 11. And I don't think he was running around giving people anything creepy, but it was too high. And they said in order for him to pass a physical, he would have to take the antibiotic for TB. And I asked him about that, and he said, I don't really know anything about it. So being the mom, because when you're the mom, it's not okay to say I don't know anything about it if you're going to take it into your body. So I did some research, and I looked, and it turns out that the antibiotic for TB is a 9-month protocol. It's 9 months of this incredibly strong antibiotic, and it's going through your system, and they say it's quite similar to chemotherapy. Yeah. So it said a lot of people, their hair will fall out. A lot of them, they throw up all the time. A lot of them can't move. They feel achy and horrible, and they miss a lot of work. They said a lot of people will lose their jobs when they're taking this because they can't stop taking it. The health department checks up on them, makes sure that they keep taking it. Otherwise, they can't get rid of the TB that comes back if you stop in the middle of this protocol. So anyway, I read that and I thought, no, that just doesn't sound okay with me. So I did some other research. I looked up in my little, handy dandy little oil books and figured out what I wanted him to do. Hi, Mandy. And anyways, what I found, I called him up and I said, okay, I get that you're going to go get your antibiotic and you're fine with that, because he was fine with that. And he didn't really believe, he thought, I'm pretty tough. None of that bad stuff's going to happen to me. Well, I said, well, okay, just, to humor your mom, I want you to take 2 things. I want you to do 2 things. I want you to take oregano. Cool little oregano. Now, oregano is really powerful, one of the most powerful antibiotics, natural antibiotics you can possibly get. Anyways, I told him I wanted him to put 2 little drops of oregano in a clear capsule and take that twice a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. And then I wanted him to take breathe. Couple of drops, 2 little drops in his hand. I wanted him to rub it around and sit and breathe it in while he was watching television at night. I said, do that every day in the evening, and do that a couple of times a day. And he said, okay, Mom, I'll do it. And I made him promise because he thought the whole thing was kind of silly. So, anyway, he went to his appointment. Well, no, he didn't go to his appointment yet. He called me about 3 days later, and he had this real gravelly voice, and he said, Mom, how many drops of oregano did you say to put in that capsule? And I said, 2, son, 2, just 2. And he said, well, being the overachiever that I am, he took 2 sides of the capsules, filled them both up with oregano, one of the hottest oils, and slammed them together and ate that. And he said, I've been burping oregano for the last 2 hours. Well, it wasn't going to hurt him. It wasn't going to kill him. It didn't feel good. But what I'm saying is it wasn't going to damage him. But he was burping oregano. It was too much. There was no need for that much oregano. But anyway, we couldn't get him to take oregano anymore. He was not much of a fan because he had that experience. But he did do the breathe that I asked him to do. And then when he went to his appointment, he called me after laughing and he said, I'll tell you what happened. He said, I went in there and the lady that had taken my test before, she took the test again, and she came in and she said, now tell me again what you're here for. And he said, well, I'm here to get the antibiotics for my TB test because I measured at an 11. And she said, well, whoever took that test did it wrong because you're actually at a 2. No. We laughed at that because we kind of figure we know what that was about. But she said, oh, well, they must have done it wrong and made a big mistake because you're not at an 11, you're at a 2. And so they did it wrong. And we thought, well, we won't tell her that she was the one that did it. Anyway, believe what you like. That's the story. And we're really big fans of fighting things with something as powerful as oregano, if that's an appropriate thing. So I feel that they are safer, a much safer choice in that case than what he was coming up on. And certainly much safer for my kids that have lots of reactions to the chemicals that are in other medicines. Also, I find a lot of comfort knowing that Johns Hopkins hospital and university, medical school and university, they use doTERRA oils in their research because of the quality and the consistency that they can count on. That's huge. That's really, really huge. They know it's going to be the same. They know it's going to be exactly what they need it to be. So they use that when they're doing their research. And also, because I work with expectant moms, and that's how I know most of you that are here, is because I've had you in my childbirth education classes, and because I do that, I absolutely have to be certain of the purity of the thing that I might be suggesting someone take, the advice I give. If someone says to me, "Oh, I have terrible heartburn," or "I don't sleep very well at night," or any number, "I'm having leg cramps," or around ligament pain, things like that. And I'll say, "So are you an essential oil person? Are you open to that? Because I can help you with that." But, and usually they will say, "Well, yeah, whatever you've got." I could not suggest that they take anything unless I was absolutely 100% sure that it was going to be fine, it was going to be pure, and it wasn't going to harm them in any way. And so that was a big, big factor for me when I came anywhere near doTERRA. So I feel like doTERRA essential oils are a safer choice, and it's something that I really want for my family. And I want it for the moms that I have in my care as well. Now let's talk about more effective, okay? What do you know about bacteria and viruses? If you have children at home, you know that if you take the baby or your little ones to the doctor and they say, "Well, they've got a bacteria infection, I'll give you this antibiotic, take it home, take it for however long, 2 weeks, whatever it is, and make sure they take the whole thing," and all that kind of thing. Well, the way that bacteria works is, let's say you've got a cell. Our body's filled with cells, and the bacteria lives outside the cell. Okay, and so when you take an antibiotic, it affects outside the cell and it can kill the bacteria that's going on. But when you come to the doctor and he says to you, "Well, I'm really sorry, this is a virus and I can't really do anything about a virus." The reason that he can't do anything about a virus is because it lives inside the cell, and the antibiotic is water-based and it does not permeate the cell membrane to get inside there and get the virus. But the awesome, amazing thing about essential oils, doTERRA essential oils, is that they are small enough molecules, and being oil like the outside layer of the cell, they can permeate the cell and affect the virus that's inside there. So when somebody says, "Oh, we have a virus and there's nothing we can do about it," I always just think, well, just come here, I'll show you what you can do about that. And if they're a good sport, I will show them what they can do about that. I wish I'd had these for a lot of the things that my kids dealt with when they were growing up, because we just took them over and over and over to get antibiotics. And I remember coming back to the doctor one time saying, "You know what, you keep giving me this antibiotic and I just keep coming back and it doesn't seem to be doing anything." And he said, "Well, they get immune to this stuff. And then we just have to give you something stronger." And I thought, okay, I'm dealing with a 3-year-old here, and you're already going to be giving him something stronger. So I just remember thinking, well, I hope you know what you're doing. But we've got other choices now, and that's feeling really, really good with the whole generation of my grandkids coming up now. So, and I'll tell you this too. I got distracted by some of my notes over here. We had a friend that called me not too long ago, a couple months ago. She was one of my moms, and she said, "Listen, my sister-in-law is going to the hospital. She's got a sore on her leg, and we just have this feeling it's a staph infection. She cannot get rid of it." She said, so she called me and said she's on her way to the hospital. And I said, well, I'm going to follow you over. And she said, "What oils should I take to try and help her with this? Because she's going to get to the hospital, and they're going to tell her they don't know what to do about it." And I said, well, if I were you, I would take frankincense. I love frankincense. It's the king of oils. Very, very good to heal physically. And I told her to take rose. Now, that's not one of the top 10 oils. That's kind of a little special one, but it's very powerful also antibiotically. Anyways, I told her to take those. And I said, now put it around. Don't ever put it in the wound, but put it around the wound. Certainly put it on the bottom of her feet. And she did. So she went, and they told her, the medical people told her when she got there, that they said, we don't know how to combat this. It's a super bug, and we're just not confident we can do too much, but we'll clean it, we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll keep you here, and count on being here about a week, and we'll see how it goes. Well, my friend went in there every day and put these on here, and she handed them to her and let her do it herself when I don't know whether she had to do it when nobody was watching or what, but she put these oils on her, and she called me back. Now, she was sending me pictures this whole time of what this wound looked like, and it was getting better and better and better. She sent me a picture on the day 3, and she said they sent her home last night, so she was only there 2 days, and the wound got better and better and better. The pink went out of the skin all around it, though it looked so hot and inflamed. And the doctor came in and said, well, it obviously wasn't a superbug, because it wouldn't have gone away that fast if it had been. So we made a mistake with that. And we went, that's all right, we'll take it. Whatever. But we feel like it was much more effective than what they were offering in this case. So, and we see that over and over and over. It is very, very effective. Now, I have a lot of people that I work with that are not wealthy. They're just regular people. They're just students lots of times. They're new marrieds. They're things like that, people just starting out. And most of us are not wealthy. Well, I have a lot of people that come to me and say, I would love to do doTERRA oils. I would love to have a cupboard full of them, but they're just too expensive. And when they say that to me, I think, ooh, good. Let me talk to you for a second, because I can show you something really, really awesome. I say, first of all, if your baby gets up in the middle of the night, well, first of all, let's ask you, what's your copay? What do you, ooh, knocking all this stuff over. What's your copay? I looked at my little card. I have kind of a ridiculous one, because it says an office copay is $50, but then there's this teeny tiny little star next to it, and it says after you meet your medical deductible. Yeah, it's about $6,000. So for me, I'm not going to the doctor anytime soon, because I would just have to pay the full whatever they were going to charge me. Anyways, so think about whatever your deductible is. Maybe it's a way better plan than I have, and your deductible or your copay when you go into the doctor is $20. Let's say it's $20. And so you get your antibiotic, and you go to the store, you pick it up, and you've paid another copay for that, and maybe it's $5. So best case, you've spent, $15, $25, something like that. But and that's fine. We got really used to doing that, did it all the time. Figured it was going to cost us about $25 every time we showed up with a child with something wrong. But let's say you got up in the night, baby's tugging at their ear, and they're fussing around, and you think to yourself, man, I could go to the doctor. It's an earache. You better run to the doctor. Or hang on a second, I've got those oils. What if I get a couple of drops of melaleuca, put it in my hand, and if it's a baby, I would probably dilute it with a little fractionated coconut oil, maybe a couple drops of that, and then you put it on the bone behind their ear, put it on the shell of their ear, rub it around a little bit in the front of their ear. Don't ever put it in their ear. It's that's not ever a good idea. It's topical. That means outside. Anyway, if you did that, 2 drops of melaleuca at 8 cents a drop, for 3 days, it was going to cost you 96 cents. Now, a bottle like this, one of the 15 milliliter bottles, has 250 drops in it. It lasts a long, long time. If this bottle doesn't last you a long, long time, you're probably using too much of it at a time, and it's not necessary. It's just wasting your oil, because 1 or 2 drops will certainly do what it says it will do. So now, what if you have 4 kids? Let's just say you've got 4 kids, and they've all got terrible earaches. They all woke up. You put this stuff on them, and you're going to do it 3 times a day for 2 days. You've spent a whopping $3.84. Beats any copay. And if you took each one of those kids in for their own antibiotic, all that copay stuff would just multiply. So, and I've never had one of my kids say that they kept that up for days and days. It usually goes away before that. Sometimes they wake up with a child in the middle of the night in that situation, and in the morning they've forgotten all about it, because they fall asleep in their arms when they're putting the oil on the outside of their ear. If you understand how oils work and how little it takes to create a huge benefit, huge result, you'll realize that at pennies per drop, it's very, very affordable. On Guard, one of my favorite oils that we use all the time. I put this on my feet almost every night before I go to bed, just as a preventative. But this is 13 cents a drop, so it's way expensive. No, it's not very expensive at all. Anyways, so I feel like they are a less expensive choice that I use for my family simply because of that. I was so thrilled to find out there were situations, medical situations I could handle myself, and I didn't have to panic every time someone got a sore throat. In fact, we've never panicked since we started on this. We just feel like we have so many more options. Now, most people know already, but I'll go over real quickly how you use the oils, because we've already been talking a little bit about that. It's aromatically, topically, and internally. So aromatically, that just means, having it in the air. Lots of people want diffusers these days. We've got 3 or 4 of them in the house. And a diffuser, you drop a couple of drops usually in water. Some of them will hook the bottle right up to the diffuser. And they'll fill the room full of this, cool little tiny droplets of it's not steam really, but it's making the essential oil aromatic. And you can breathe that in. Now, if I've got somebody stomping around my house being all grumpy, I'm going to grab wild orange, the happy oil, and I'm going to put a couple drops of that in there, and I'm going to calm them right down. They're all of a sudden going to go, I'm actually feeling a little bit better, and I just go, I knew that. Because they breathe it in, and it crosses the blood-brain barrier, and it can affect them through their olfactory senses. They breathe it in, and it changes how they feel, and that's wonderful. Who doesn't want that benefit for their family? If you don't have a diffuser, it's totally fine. You take a couple of drops, put it in your hand, rub it around, and sit there and breathe it. It's the same thing. It's going right into your system and creating all kinds of benefits health-wise for your body. I used to think that was silly, that you could breathe something in and have it affect you that way, but the olfactory nerves are so much more powerful than anyone would suspect. They're apparently stronger than your sense of hearing and all of that kind of thing. So I've done some research, and I know the oil doTERRA has done a lot of research on why it works that way, and it's fascinating to read. I don't have time to tell you all of that right now, but it's very, very powerful when you breathe it in. Another way is topically. When you use the oils topically, you can create a benefit in your whole body. For instance, if you put a couple of drops, the most popular way is put a couple of drops on your feet. And the reason that putting them on your feet, because I used to think that was kind of goofy too, is because we have hundreds and hundreds of nerves and cells in the bottom of our feet. They're actually very, very sensitive. They also have great big pores. And so if you put a couple drops and rub them on the bottom of your feet or your children's feet, it's absorbed really, really quickly into the body. And you can have an effect, these oils going through your body they say within 20 or 30 seconds. And that's pretty fast. It's pretty powerful. Another way that you can, that's true, Lindy, to breathe it in. It really, truly works. I've done that when I need to calm down. I have Balance oil, and I love Balance. It's one of my favorite oils, and sometimes I get all, stressed out about something, and I think, okay, you can keep feeling like this if you want to, or you can do something about it. And so I do something about it, and what I usually do is put something in my hands and breathe it in. And all of a sudden it just feels like I'm just calm from my top of my head to the tips of my toes. It's an awesome thing. Also, here's an oil, Digestin. That's one I don't honestly leave home without. It's in my purse. It's next to my bed. It's in the restroom. It's in the kitchen. We have a bottle of this everywhere there's human beings. And the reason is because if you've ever, and everyone has had that feeling where you're just kind of sitting there going, I don't know, am I getting sick? What's happening to me? My tummy's rumbling. I don't know what's going on, but I don't feel very good. Blah, blah, blah. And so you can run with that feeling if you want to. You get that in the middle of the night and you just kind of lay there and make yourself kind of think about it too much. Or you take a couple of drops of this and just rub it on your tummy, right on your tummy. And the nerves and cells in your tummy are very, very sensitive too. And you put that on there, and all of a sudden you're thinking, gosh, I hope I don't get sicker. I hope I get well. And you fall asleep, and you wake up in the morning and go, but gone. This is an oil that we have the little ones come to us and ask for by name. Instead of them coming and going, I don't feel good, what do I do? Well, the cute little sweethearts come and say, I need Digestin. And it even comes in a roller bottle that's a little bit, that's already pre-diluted, so you can hand that to a little child 5 or 6-year-old and they can put it on their own tummy. It makes them feel quite powerful to know they can take care of some of these things by themselves. Certainly with, mom's supervision and all that, of course. But anyway, that's one that I absolutely love. Deep Blue is another one that I love because I've got, knees that are trying very, very hard to be happy, and they're not always happy. And so I'm putting Deep Blue on my knees all the time, just so that I can get where I need to go, and I can walk straight and not be hurting all the time. And it's been a game changer for me. I really, really appreciate that one. Then the third way is internally. And lots of people will go, oh. I had somebody in my class once that stuck their hand up in the air and said, you can't take essential oils internally. And I said, well, it's an amazing thing, but knowing what kind of oils you are using and knowing the purity and the safety of these oils, I am very confident that the ones that say for internal use also, you can take internally from doTERRA. Now, the way that you can tell, because not every single oil is... not every single, you're seeing all these little testimonials here. I hope you guys can read that, or is it just me that can read it? I hope you all can, because that's awesome. People are using Digest Zen and going, yeah, works right now. Anyway, the way that you can tell is right on the label, and I realize you're seeing this backwards, but if you have a bottle, or you get a bottle, they have a supplement statement. And they have the supplement statement only on the ones that you can use internally. And it will say on the label also for dietary use, for, where does it say it? With such tiny writing, for aromatic, topical, or dietary use. Now, if you get a different one, I don't even have any in front of me that aren't for that. But they just won't, here I've got balance. It doesn't have the supplement statement on it. And it says for topical and aromatic use. So it's simple. If it doesn't say it, don't use that one internally. And the way to use it internally, too, is very, very simple. You can throw a drop down your throat like I did. It was not cool. It was really, really hot. Anyways, better ways to do that. You can just touch the top of it and stripe it across your tongue if you want to. You can put a couple drops in a little empty gelatin capsule. You can get those from Amazon. They're really, really cheap. Or you can put a drop under your tongue. Plenty of people do that with frankincense first thing in the morning, and it just kind of gives them a little healthy base, big solid little let's get going and stay healthy kind of feel. Or you can put it in your water. I have 3 drops of lemon and 1 drop of peppermint in my water almost all the time. And I fill it full of ice, and it's just very, very refreshing. But I also know that I'm getting this perk up effect from the peppermint, and I'm also getting a slight detox from the lemon, because that's what it does in the human body. It just kind of goes, yeah, get rid of that and that and that, and let's get healthy. So I like it, and I feel like, especially with the ice in it, it just feels like I'm drinking some kind of soda without the soda, and certainly without the negative side effects of that. So the doTERRA essential oils are something that I use internally, and I feel 100% confident that is working wonderfully for my family because of the purity that they promise. This is the first in a whole lot of classes that we intend to do. Now, we do classes also on our group site, the EssentialVille community, we call it. That's the people that are in our group. Where we get really into some stuff, and we're going to start talking about the individual oils and things like that. But this little series, this time is the basic 101, getting your family ready for anything. The next one will be talking about using the oils during pregnancy. And that's kind of a lovely thing, because so often in pregnancy you don't feel like you have many choices to take care of things like that. The next one after that, the third one, will be taking care of babies and children with essential oils. I think that this is very, very empowering to be able to find these oils, be able to know how to use them, and so I hope that these classes are helpful for you. And so I will say this: if you would like to buy these oils, here's how it works. It's very, very simple. You can buy them retail. Some people do that. But retail is retail, and friends don't let friends buy things retail if they don't have to, right? And so a wholesale account is just simple stuff. It's just like a Costco account. It's $35 for the first year, and then they let you know at the end of the year that it's expiring. And if you want to re-sign up or whatever you call it, you have that option. And it's $25 if you want to sign up again or you want to start the membership over again. And they give you a free bottle of peppermint, the $19 oil. So it's essentially like you got your next year's enrollment for $6. So that's kind of awesome. And it gives you 25% off every product doTERRA sells for a year, and that's awesome. It usually pays for itself with the very first re-enroll. That's the word. Wait till you're 60 years old. The words will start disappearing. No, that's a bad affirmation. Never mind. You will keep all of your thoughts all the time. Oh, gee. Okay, so the best way, I feel like, is to get a wholesale account yourself. Now, you can buy oils below wholesale if you get a kit, because they waive the $35 fee if you get a kit. Also, if you get a kit, anytime somebody enrolls with EssentialVille, I send them one of these books. This is the most cool book in the whole wide world. It's called Essentials of the Earth. Look, it's very thick, very awesome. And it's got everything in the world in here. You can look up your own stuff. This is what I have right by my computer, right where my phone rests, because people ask me all the time. I am on email, I'm texting, I'm answering the phone all the time with people that I work with that are asking how they take care of this or how they take care of that. And if I know, I certainly tell them. And a lot of things I remember, and so I do remember some things. But if I don't know, I've got this little book, and I'll tell you what, this is going to make you feel pretty darn smart. You're going to just read this because it's cool. And you'll see how powerful the oils are to work for all these different things. Anyways, that's our gift to you. If you order with a kit or 100-point order, it's essentially a $100 order. If you are interested in the oils, please, please, please just direct message me from either this site, or if you have my email or my phone number, you can text me, whatever you'd like to do, and I would be happy to help you get whatever oils that you would like. Because what I know about it is that they're going to change your life. They absolutely are going to just empower you to know how to do things for your family that you didn't think was possible before. Oh, and I will also send you a little mystery oil. It won't be a mystery when you get it, but I just will see what it is you got. Make sure I don't send you the same thing that you already ordered, and I'll put in another little bottle of something that's just my gift to you, because I just know that every single oil you use that you've had an experience with, you've had a positive experience, here's what I know. Every single one of these oils has that same ability to have that profound of an experience right inside this bottle for you, just waiting for you to use it and open it up and take advantage of the incredible benefits that these oils will bring to your family. So jump in. If you don't have oils in your home right now, you don't have your own account, please jump in and be with us. I miss you guys so much. I get to the end of a class and go, I don't want to lose them. So this is a good thing. We can hang out. We can have our little parties, and you can jump into our EssentialVille community. That's where we do lots of stuff. We have little holiday things and all kinds of community. It's just really, really fun. Anyways, let me ask you this in closing, okay? Because I really like to keep these classes 45 minutes long. I always say that they'll be an hour because I do tend to talk sometimes a whole lot. But I've been really good at keeping these to 45 minutes, so I will tell you, I want you to hear this. Are there health concerns right this minute in your life or the life of your family that is holding you back from having a better life? Okay, think about that for a minute. You might even go to the point where you write it all down, and then I want you to think, how would your life be different if these concerns were resolved? And if you get on to direct message me to figure out how to get some of these oils for yourself, and you talk to me about that, we can talk about resolving some of those things, because that's the best part of being involved with these incredible oils and with doTERRA, is that we just find over and over and over things people never thought they could figure out. They're being resolved, and that's the best part about it, taking care of your family, taking care of those that we love. So get on, ask me any questions you want, direct message me, and let's get some oils on their way to you. Other than that, think about the questions that I've asked you. Let me know. Remember our little free promo. I believe this will be on for about 24 hours. So if there's somebody else that would like to hear it, have them jump in and we'll get them on. Anyway, other than that, we'll do this again very soon. Probably again next Thursday. That's when the next one will be. So watch for the invite and I'll get you in. Invite your friends. Tell them that this is a good place to be to learn more about essential oils. I adore you. See you later.